Televidente, feliz noite e bom vini del nosso programa Bonochi, Korsou. Nós está iniciando semana ave, mas já contento de poder oferecer programa informativo, recreativo, maneira sempre de hope interesse, depois de par de dias de descanso, depois de par de dias de sossego, mita papia de repouso, então, depois de operação chiquito na ovo, para asina, porte ya trove junto con vos. Nos a compartir algún programa que nos haga pre-grabar y nos a repetir uno o dos programas de sumo interés que nos a selectar de programas que nos está seguro que vale la pena para repetir. Pero ahora no sé con material nuevo durante todo el día aquí eso se dejó cosco nos no por cubrir para motivo de sosiego necesario en capa doctor, pero no stay back con más información manera siempre. Ahora nos que compartir con vos un programa que nos está de sumo interés para diferentes razones. Tiene un motivo, tiene viaja para cual no está así una acción, no está así, algo que está en acción directo, o tiene cosas que está lo que yo pienso te llama el valor agregado para, en el caso aquí, para una comunidad. Mi no queja sin ninguna comparación, pero esa que está iba a mi corda tiempo en Refinería Isla. Refinería Isla estaba a realizar acción en directo como una compañía comercial para producir divisa y paralelamente que sei, estaba a producir diferentes beneficios tanto para su trabajadora como para la comunidad. Traducir en obra social, ayuda para escuela, deporte, etc. Cultura. No está viaja, no está en la compañía tanto del sector oficial como del sector privado, que está dedicada suficiente atención a la comunidad. La cambio dice flat, pasó así no está. Obviamente, quizá no tu compañía tiene posibilidad de dedicar parte de un ingreso para servicio comunitario, pues no está turta producir lo que quizás te hace para poder operar de una manera eficiente. Pero en todo caso, AVE no se topa con una empresa que a lo largo de tiempo ha existido de diferentes manejos, diferentes denominaciones, diferentes formatos de negocio, me está papiando de historia. Te llegan a actual ya para basta tiempo, pero nos ha reparado en el último tiempo nos aeropuertos de Korsou, aeropuerto Hato con los que llamele, hoy en día el nombre comercial de Korsou International Airport, con su logo nuevo y con dimensión completamente otro para lo que te trata, responsabilidad social, visión de negocio, etcétera, etcétera. Y nos toma nota que tiene un esfuerzo grande, así for de no solamente su cabeza, pero de entero crew que está operando los aeropuertos, de búsqueda de excelencia como empresa para dar un servicio eficiente y duradero, pero también cumple con una responsabilidad social como parte de nuestra comunidad de Korsou. Esa nos mira ya para basta luna capa. Y está importante para nos 13 es aquí para adelante, con más allá de, mira, por ejemplo, iniciativas conjuntamente con el gobierno para así 13 elementos que te brinda seguridad para el pasajero, que te brinda seguridad para el mundo de aviación, de semana de seguridad aérea, por ejemplo, que siempre han realizado eventos internacionales sumamente grandes, pero también en el caso de pasajeros que están traficados en los aeropuertos. Motivo de lo que nos está 13 para adelante está que los aeropuertos llegan a una cifra récord de pasajeros, de 2 millones de pasajeros, para lo que se trata el último año de operación. Entonces, esa es una cifra que para un aeropuerto de magnitud, de dimensión de nuestro aeropuerto Hato, está sumamente importante. Para sobra, no solamente circulación de pasajeros, circulación de avión, pero circulación eficiente de tanto aeronave como persona en el aeropuerto. Para sobra, hopi viaja, gente te pasa, pero con más hopi tropiezo. Entonces, en el caso aquí, nos toma nota de una intención de, en verdad, llegan a un punto de excelencia para lo que te trata manejo de aeropuerto. Ese está garantizar satisfacción para el usuario, tanto local, pero también como turista, que está en los pilar fundamental de economía hoy en día, y pasajero contento, está un alto potencial de regreso, a lo menos para lo que te trata aeropuerto. O aquí también tiene que conversacionan con tus stakeholders, que están conviviendo de edad de aeropuerto, inmigración, policía, línea de aviación, aduana, etcétera, para así cada uno dinan duna su mejor esfuerzo para brindar un mejor servicio. Por lo tanto, nos duna atención a una invitación que nos haya de señora Faina Hasset y también de señora Andersen, director de aeropuerto, y Faina como director o jefe de comunicación, para así nos para cubrir una conferencia de prensa que minda no solamente a anunciar con más y orgullo cifra de 2 millones de pasajeros, pero también todo lo que está tomando lugar en los aeropuertos y también todo lo que está en visión de 3 fases comunitarias fundamental. Orientación de los aeropuertos, en palabras de su CEO, su director general, parte de comercialización y todo lo que es marketing de aviación y negocio de aviación de man de señora Cruz, que también ha dado su intervención, señora Peggy Cruz, y también su director nuevo de operación, que está maneja parte operacional, que también ha anunciado cosas sumamente importantes. Paralelamente que se recientemente nos por tomar nota de trabajo para adecuar llegada de pasajeros para lo que te trata el bus de turismo, que está causando un tique de consternación de nuestra comunidad para sobre ti dificultad de vida, tamaño de bus, etcétera, y cosas para tomar pasajero, para bus que generan que llega, etcétera, y nos toma nota de diferentes reclamos de la comunidad y recientemente autoridad local de gobierno, ministra y también señor Andersen ha anunciado que una toma de vida nota de requerimiento de comunidad y han comenzado ya está cerca de comenzar con el trabajo de remodelación de interés área para solucionar el problema. Y también como parte de acción comunitaria, han así una donación para 2 escuelas de Korsou, en el caso aquí para Elis Juliana, escuela Sheila Carol, y también para Juan Pablo Duarte. En el primer caso, han así entrega junto con el ministro C3 Van Heydorn de 20 iPad para así emocionan así uso de información conjuntamente con diferentes otros beneficios con aña y en el caso de escuela Juan Pablo Duarte nan también haya un style con nos fue llamarle de esta manera un stage o un beca la que nos llamarle un beca para una formación on the job, trabajando en parte de mantenimiento de aeropuerto de una forma guiada a base de un programa de enseñanza de tal forma que una de conocimiento un poquito más avanzado en el área. Well, es esta cosa que es importante para nos anunciar y que forma parte del manejo de responsabilidad social en el caso aquí de Korsou International Airport, que recientemente ha realizado su conferencia de prensa y que nos también donaba un parte de lo que nos cubre en diferentes casos de 3 personalidades que están el manejo de nuestro aeropuerto de hoy en día.
We're going to talk about a record-breaking year. We are seeing numbers at this destination, this airport, that we haven't seen before. So we are experiencing a fantastic growth, a fantastic development. And Peg is going to say a few words about that one. And then I have Mikael here to help me to talk about how we're going to handle it. Because we are having some challenges this winter that really going to push out to the limits. And the margins are very, very small. So we're going to talk a little bit about that one. And then, of course, we're going to have the introduction of the new program for the winter, and so on. And then we're going to take questions and answers at the end. I mean, I don't know if you're going to take questions at the end or should I ask? Okay, so we're going to take questions and answers at the end. Okay, let me see if I can do this one here. So just very, very briefly, we are a concession holder. We run the airport on behalf of the government. And the company consists of, okay, did we lost it already? We have 3 owners. We have the Brazilian infrastructure company called CCR. They are a huge infrastructure company that provides roads, metro systems, and they are running 20 airports in South America. So they are pretty big. They own 80% of our company. And then we have Janssen de Young, that we all know is a local construction company. They own 10% of CAP. And then we have Zurich Airport, which own 10% of our company. Those are the 3 owners of CAP. And we have a concession for 30 years. We got the concession by the government to run the airport back in 2003. And of course, we have changed owners. There's also been changes during the way. We have upgraded the airport with new terminals. We also have seen, what can I say, new owners coming in, and so on. And we are around here now, over here, in 2024. And we kind of have 9 years left of our concession. So it's and now we are seeing growth that we haven't seen before. And of course, this is something that we need to keep in mind when we also are developing the airport. But we can talk a little bit more about that one later on. The numbers. In 2022, we had 1,462,000 passengers traveling in and out of the airport. That's 2 years ago. This year, we're going to pass 2 million. 600,000 more passengers in 2 years. That's a growth of, 36, 38%. And for us as an operator, it's of course a huge, it's a luxury problem, call it like that. It's a fantastic development, and we are so happy for it, and we worked really hard to get there. But it also puts a lot of challenges to how we are operating the airport, because suddenly now we have a huge throughput compared to what we previously had. And of course, we need to take actions and adjust the way that we are working, so we make sure that we can handle this new influx of passengers. I guess we will share the presentation afterwards. So yeah, so you don't have to write down. We will share the presentation with you, so you can use information from that one. But we are reaching about 2 million passengers this year. We expect to pass it this year, and we've never seen that numbers before. The last record year that we had was in 2015. Yeah, 1,776,000 passengers in 2015. And then we had a local carrier, Incel Air, that was driving that growth. Unfortunately, Incel Air, they folded, and then of course that put back our airport quite a lot and the destination. So we have kind of recovered also after Incel Air's, bankruptcy back in 2017. So we are now seeing numbers that we haven't seen before. And we are also, and Peggy will talk a little bit about it later on, we are also seeing numbers for next year and the coming years that will also show that we will continue growing. Just a few things about an airport and what we actually represent in many ways. You have kind of 2 ways that we contribute to the economy of the island. I believe that the GDP of Curaçao is kind of estimated to be around 6 billion guilders this year. I may be wrong, but around 6 billion guilders, the total one. The tourism sector, or the part that we are part of, the tourism, the transportation sector, and so on, represent nearly 1/3, 30%, 1/3 of that GDP. That's around 2 billion guilders. So we are a key component in generating value, work, and opportunities for the island. So it's really important that we function well. And it's really important that we continue to develop to support the development that is going on the island. And again, Peggy will take us through some of the developments in the hotel sector. And there are several thousand rooms being added into the next couple of years that will again, create demand out there for visiting our island. Also, we are a huge contributor to the foreign exchange part. A lot of people from outside are coming with the dollars and the euros and so on and contributing to our economy. It's kind of like a wealth transfer from other parts of the world to the economy of Korsou. That is a direct contribution to the well-being and the economy of the island, which is something that is very important to also remember.
Un detalhe importante que o Sr. Andersen também a mencionar tá a importância de bom funcionamento de nosso aeroporto para funcionar bom e para por contribuir a nossa economia. Se o aeroporto está funcionando bom, tem diferente aporte de nosso aeroporto para a casa de governo e, consequentemente, para nosso país.
We are paying, or we are contributing a lot of taxes and fees also to the government and the state through both taxes linked to tourism, but also the airport activities. And we are a huge employer, not only the airport itself, but everybody who is related to the airport. I think today we have around 1,800 people having work at the airport or related to the airport. So we're starting to be really one of the big places for work on the island. So in short, we are a key driver of the economy through both direct but also the indirect, the multiplier effect with the hotels, with the transportation sector, with the restaurant sector, with everything else that is going on the island. So again, it's really key that we are functioning well.
Señora Peggy Cruz, quien es persona encargada con desarrollo de mercadeo internacional en el mundo de aviación, él explica primeramente onde nós está agora aqui e que tem visão para o futuro de mês e não surge e cifra que por garantizar bom funcionamento financeiro e obviamente operacional de nosso aeroporto, contribuição para a casa do país e também para por ter recursos necessários para invertir em responsabilidade social.
So it's a pleasure to be with you and give you some updates on traffic, as Johnny mentioned, because in this environment that we live in the airport aviation industry, it is a very volatile and very dynamic industry. The nice thing about it is you can continue the growth in a contained manner, but you can also look towards the future and see what is going on in various markets and with various airline companies. So we'll take a little journey in that. If we look at our current airport route network, we currently have 21 airline partners that service us in a variety of gateways in our main markets, which are North America, South America, the Caribbean, and Europe. We added 3 new airline partners in the last 18 months. They are Azul Airlines, Delta Airlines, and Corendon. Through Azul and Delta, we gained 2 new gateways into Curaçao, Atlanta, Georgia, and Belo Horizonte in Brazil. In addition to this, over the last 18 months, 7 of our current airline partners have added service into the destination. Remember, it sounds very far away, but we've just gotten out of a COVID pandemic. So in the last 2 years, there were several airlines that were not at their previous COVID schedule. They have increased and they are currently at that. Some of them have exceeded that. Okay. So the network growth with our winter schedule, if we look at North America, Delta Airlines nonstop Atlanta to Curaçao is going from the weekly service to daily service during the winter. They've already announced that for next summer, they'll be flying into Curaçao 3 times from the 1 time that they were doing this year. So that's good news. Azul, next to that, is launching in the month of December 4 flights to Fort Lauderdale and back to Curaçao in conjunction with the service that they have in South America out of Belo Horizonte. So that's also a different gateway in the Florida region, one that we really need to offset a little bit the pressure that we have on the Miami gateway. In South America, Wingo just now announced that they will be introducing the Medellin-Curacao route in the winter of 24-25. They'll be flying this during the peak seasons in that area. So Azul is going up from 2 flights from Belo Horizonte nonstop to Curacao. They're going to 4 flights. And Avianca last week confirmed that we are now having daily AM services and daily PM services. So we have 14 flights with Avianca as of this winter season. Then in Europe, we're very pleased with TUI Belgium adding Brussels, Curacao. We understand the bookings are going really well out of that market. And it will be year-round, twice a week, with a stop in Punta Cana. Okay. So if we look at our year-to-date passenger movement, September 24 through, compared to September 2023, we see that we've grown by 25%. We're currently at about 1.5 million passenger movements in and out. This is everything that's coming in and out of the airport at 1.5, 25% more than last year, giving us a good indication that definitely we will reach the 2 million mark by the end of this year, which is very positive. Of course, international is our biggest segment of the passengers that we have at about 600,000. Domestic at about 102,000. Domestic is what we consider Aruba, Bonaire, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. The arrivals are about 706,000, giving us the 1.5 million mark. The passenger traffic from the major gateways. Gateways is where the flight originates. So from the Netherlands, year to date, 40% of the passengers traveling to Curacao came from that gateway. United States accounted for 20%, Dutch Caribbean accounted for 15%, South America is at 15%, and Canadian market is at 3%. Now to the right-hand side, in coordination with the segment, we've outlined the largest airline providers and their share of the passengers that they bring. So number 1 is KLM with 14%, followed very closely by American also with 14%. We have TUI at 13%, Corendon at 10%. Then we have Avianca, that followed by Divi, then followed by Copa, then followed by JetBlue. Then we have Z Air, we have Air Canada, we have Win Air, and finally with 2%, Azul Airlines. So of course, the bigger the aircraft and the more frequencies your passengers share to the destination, of course, is larger. So kind of like taking a look at 2025, because basically we already are in 2025, believe it or not. The retention is very important for us in our principles for air service development. We need to retain what we have. It is very difficult once you lose a flight to get it back, because other airlines are also looking at why wasn't it successful or what happened. So we're very, very protective of our route network, our airline partners, and the gateways. The growth, like we did this year, contained growth. What do we mean by that? So within the seats that come to Curacao, not all of them are at a 100% capacity. You have opportunities for growth, and that's what we've seen this year at a staggering rate. Diversification, we're always looking to our current partners and our potential airline partners to the diversification. What do we mean by that? Unserved markets, to see if we can get additional flights to complement that, because there's a need from markets that are not served directly, and in the off-peak, which is during the morning hours or the evening hours. And then awareness. Last year we introduced a new branding for the airport, and we're using that also to put our name out there in the international community. Then if we look at the several markets, and I'll take a little more time on each slide to kind of like help you digest all of the information. If we look, and the information we pull is from Cirium, it's a data provider, and we always put in a subject to change disclaimer. Why? Because flights and schedules change. Be it for equipment problems, be it for demand problems, being to the fact that they increase also. So there's a mix of things that happen, and that's why we always have to say subject to change. But this will give you a little bit of an indication of what 2025 could look like. So for the European market, of the seat capacity we are anticipating into the market, the European market will be providing us with 41% of the seats, and it's a growth of 28% compared to 2024, so the same period. What's important? The retention. We have Amsterdam and we'll have Brussels also. We have multiple daily flights. We have them non-stop and we have them direct. Direct means that they're coming to Curacao but they have a stop. We want to see some more growth, and that's based on the seat occupancy. We would also like to see, for example, out of the Brussels market, to have the majority of the flight seats come to Curacao rather than Punta Cana. That could possibly lead then that we get non-stop from Brussels. So that's something that we work with. And when I say we, it's a partnership with the Tourism Board and the Hotel Association. Diversification, stimulate the demand in the feeder markets. Germany and the United Kingdom are proving to be very strong feeder markets on the flights that we have on Amsterdam and also in Bogota. So those are the areas together again, putting in campaigns, putting in marketing promotions, and ensuring that we get more passengers from those regions.
Well, il mercato americano sigurta uno che sempre tava di masha interesse para Korsou, ed in caso aqui não escapa e planificação futuro de aeroporto.
And now we're switching to the North American market, so the same premise and the same formula. The North American markets grow by 79%. It's a huge increase year over year. And it will account for 29% of the seats coming into the destination. Retention, again, the current route network. Sustain and make sure that the flights are not only sustainable but also profitable. We're getting the additional service that we mentioned to you. And we want to secure the continuity, because the North American market is a good market for the destination, not only because it's going to account for 30%, but we need that balance next to Europe to have some leeway should something happen in one of the markets that we can switch rather quickly. The growth, the increase in seat occupancy. Some of the airlines are not at daily service yet, so we want to work and continue to work with them for them to grow to daily service into the destination. And of course, I'll talk about it a little more, the effect of the additional inventory coming online in the next few years on the destination with a lot of focus on American brands. That is also we need to be working on now to be able to accommodate the demand. So the diversification growth in the feeder markets, Dallas-Fort Worth is a good one, Chicago is a good one, Washington National is a good one. So we always share this information with our tourism partners that we have dedicated, focused presentations, opportunities and marketing campaigns in those feeder markets to help our gateway originating flights. And potential complementing routes. We're in conversations with some potential airlines for the next couple of years, especially with the increase in room inventory, to really put Curacao on the map. Unfortunately, those conversations are sensitive, as airlines are the ones that are announcing when they put in a new route. And the awareness, of course, there's an election in less than 2 weeks. There could be possible effect on that. Boeing delayed delivery. I'm not sure if you saw it in the news this morning. The strike is ongoing because the employees have once again rejected the labor agreement that Boeing has proposed to them. So they're continuing their strike. And the overcapacity. Last year, the American airlines, or American carriers, I must say, have put in a lot of capacity into the Caribbean, and they're really monitoring that they avoid to have overcapacity. Meaning if the flight is not doing well, they will take an aircraft and put it to another destination that needs equipment and that needs the flight.
Mercado de aviación para Korsou en parte de Sudamérica está un 17%. Esta es una cifra importante, quizás es posonatiki, pero esta es importante y por lo tanto, señora Cruz ha mencionado visión para el mercado suramericano.
South America is going to account for 17% at this moment for the service coming into the destination. It's a growth of 10% compared to last year. Again, the retention is on the current route network. Make sure that we keep the airline partners and we keep the gateways that we have. Make sure they're sustainable and profitable. The growth increase also the seat capacity, so we can have more people coming in on the current service that we have to the destination. Also there, some of them are not currently at daily, and we'd like to see them at daily as well. There's some opportunities with the airlines there that do code sharing, so they work with other airlines to get more connectivity into the destination, get more passengers into the destination as well. And of course, one of the key components here also is the additional room inventory expected in the next couple of years. So feeder cities that are providing further diversification is the growth of the Korsou area in South America. We're seeing a lot of that coming through Panama, coming to Bogota, into the destination. That's something we keep stimulating, also for that continued connectivity. And then the awareness, the opportunities for complementing service into the destination in the next few years.
Obviamente nos islanan, lo que siempre no se llama, nos islanan ABC, pero en el caso aquí, incluyendo San Martín también, forma un parte importante del bolo total de nuestro mercado de aviación.
Then the Dutch Caribbean, unfortunately it's the only market where we see a decrease in seat capacity at present. We're sure there's going to be some opportunities in the next coming years. Of course, one airline having stopped operations this year has impacted the seat capacity into the destination, as Dutch Caribbean will account for 5%. Doesn't mean that they're not important. It does mean that we have to focus on the inter-island connectivity. We need to ensure that we maintain that. We have multiple flights every day to Aruba, Bonaire, and St. Martin's, connectivity then to Ceiba and Statia. The growth there is increased seat capacity, and the additional room inventory that we're going to be seeing into the destination will help the growth and stimulate further inter-island connectivity. The diversification, now with more groups, with more tourism coming in, we also anticipate that there's an opportunity for day trips with groups, or if there's people staying here, they'd like to visit Bonaire or Aruba for 2 or 3 days, that our local airlines can facilitate that. And of course the events. Events are coming back, and you see that when there's events within the Dutch Caribbean, we visit. Then the awareness, the volatility of the markets. There's also elections in Aruba and in Curaçao in the next few months. The inflation and the ticket prices also do weigh on a decision to come and visit.
Tanto val conosce por hasi differente plan, differente acondicionamento, tanto di infrastruttura come di vuelo, se non tem suficiente lugar de queda, se não tem instalação para o turista por queda, acomodação hotelero, apartamento, etc, etc. E aceita algo que não também como parte de totalidade de nos produto turístico, cultura instância e stakeholders de parte de turismo a queda conversar.
We talked a little bit about the room inventory. We currently have about 8,500 rooms in inventory on the island. We are anticipating about 4,000 coming online in the next 3 to 4 years, and that's between hotel accommodations and some R&B or smaller apartment complexes, which will get us up to about 13,000 rooms in inventory in the next few years. It's about 54% growth in room inventory. Okay? What we also do as an airport, because of course you don't visit a destination because of the airport, but the airport is an integral part, especially a destination like ours, in which we would love to welcome the people, but we'd like for them to come back as well, because we really depend on that traffic flow. So what we do too is with our airline partners, and we've introduced it this year, there's no cost to the airline partners nor to the community. We had a travel market, so giving the opportunity for the community to come and visit, talk to airlines, even make a booking at that time, including our local tour operators, which also operate at the airport. So some of them that would like to do a combined visit abroad, but also have some time and visit Curaçao as a vacation destination, the staycations were also stimulated during that time. We also introduced a concept, the Fly Cure, which is enticing people to really embrace travel, whether it be visitors into the destination or our local community when they travel. Post your pictures, post your travel experiences, and we're trying to build a community through that as well.
Una cosa importante también está hecho que no está solamente realidad que no está viviendo en Korsou con funcionalidad de nuestro aeropuerto, pero Kiko nanta visa, Kiko nanta papia e fonan de aeropuerto de Korsou como destinación para los turistas.
Our recognition, we're very pleased that the aviation industry has recognized our little airport, because there's so many airports out there, on the short list. So at Routes Americas, which was in Bogota this year, and also at World Routes, which was just earlier this month. And it's nice to get that recognition. Being recognized, especially in that sea of so many airports, is a great accomplishment for our team. Okay? So Johnny already alluded to this a little bit. It is going to be a record-breaking year. Forecasting, and we are very candid in that, it's not been easy since the pandemic. We're still getting our bearings, but we're feeling with now reaching that 2 million threshold this year, because we first started anticipating about 1.8, 1.7, then to 1.9, but now we're forecasting at 2 million, and next year possibly 2.2 million. We do anticipate that our forecasting is going to be a little more structured, and we kind of have a grip on it now moving forward. So it's all good. It's within the contained growth that we anticipate, so between 9 to 11% for next year. And we do believe that with the efforts of everybody, that we will get there. So we're very pleased with that. The branding continues, our partnership continues. Next week, we are hosting, together with the Tourism Board and the Hotel Association, all the North American tour operators on the island. I'm sure you've heard of that. And what we do is we invite them to come visit. The product has changed tremendously in the last 2 to 3 years. And what we then do is there's meetings with the hotels one-on-one, but we also showcase the destination. So they really get a feeling for the destination, and hopefully they will be selling the destination to their clients as well. As an airport, we've taken some initiatives together with sister airports in different regions. One which was very exciting. We were very successful together with our sister airports and the Hotel Association and the Tourism Board to go to some of the markets that we have. In this case, we went to Brazil, and then we presented the destination to that local market, and it went very well. In addition to that, we continue our branding efforts. We've branded international conferences like an IATA conference with sponsoring the name tags, and then with World Routes and with Routes Americas, we've had bannership and sponsorship showcasing our new logo and our product to the aviation community.
Questo è un buon momento para nos passar por un anúncio de esta si nos programa possível e diz aqui nós vai continuar com mais de nosso programa analisando a nossa situação de aviação, nosso mercado turístico via de aeroporto de Korsou.
Lo llega el momento que nos turtinco enfrente. El momento para que você querer na su último lugar de sosiego. El momento para planear, conmemorar y celebrar vida de Jesús que ya no tem más. El momento para lagar turcos de mandi señorial. 40 años sirviéndonos pueblo. Con hopi empatía y dedicación, cargando con responsabilidad para una bonita despedida. Señorial, para una despedida digno y lleno de amor.
Wow, será lá para será?
Sì, non so se era.
Esta comitação tem número de meu doctor.
Ai, Bosquiri, não preocupa. Lab da minha tablita sabra também.
Já sabe? Tá, que me vou preocupar yanto.
Seguro que sim, entre 8h30 e 10h dia. Então nós está preco na casa também.
Você está preco na casa, sabra?
Claro! E o serviço está grátis.
Ai, você está pensando neste meu lugar aqui, você. Ei, você se bom pode chegar lá da meta?
Lab da meta chega cerca bom. Piu!
Siamo nós back, mas em nosso programa Bonochi Korsou, papeando de nosso aeroporto de Korsou, em totalidade de nosso mercado turístico. Nós dedicamos ao programa no último tempo na turismo, mirando quanto nosso mercado turístico cresce e que é a posição atual de Korsou no mercado turístico. E nós não podemos com nossa realidade, com nosso aeroporto, a dar vuelco fundamental hacia lo positivo. Y hoy en día tiene diferente cambio que nos por mira, pero tiene cambio también que nos con una nota visible para el público de trabajo no realizar, pero no está sintiendo de la funcionalidad de nuestro aeropuerto. Tiene un parte visible, tiene un parte no visible. Pero prometo que nos continúa, nos que acordamos que nos llegando a Boston, en el Lab de Med, Laboratorio de Médicos, una institución clave de la cadena de cuidado, donando servicio para más de 40 años a nuestra comunidad, con un carácter de confiabilidad que está sumamente importante, tanto para el cliente, el usuario, el paciente, o para todos están envolvidos en la cadena de cuidado. Lab de Med, Laboratorio de Médicos. A nombre también de Bombini Supermarket, un lugar ideal para vos hacer compras de un ambiente dulce, de un ambiente de familia, producto fresco y una garantía de calidad y frescura extraordinaria. Bombini, para sobra. Bombini de bocas. Na number también de Sambil, ya nos pasa de una temporada de Halloween sumamente grato, campeón de ambiente de Sambil, y ya nos está 30 de un luna nuevo, ya nos está en recta final para fin de año y nos ha invitado para compartir con nosotros allá en Sambil cada día, cada momento, cada evento que nos está realizando. El Festival Criollo Film estaba un éxito total de cinemas, de Caribbean Cinemas de Sambil, y también con la organización de Criollo Film, para bien, para tremendo trabajo, y además de ese, toda programación rutinario de Sambil, está una atracción para interfamilia. Sambil, más que un centro comercial. Na nombre también de Curinde, Xonan, Cutin, ya acaba para 30, ya no se 30, novembro acaba, que está luna de convención de ASFA, asociación, me debe decir, pero en español, Asociación de Zonas Francas de Iberoamérica, pero abriendo frontera, tiene más países, no necesariamente de Iberoamérica que participa, de manera, por ejemplo, Polonia, me no te acuerdas cuál más a anunciar su participación, pero este va a estar un evento crucial para nuestro sector de zona franca en Korsou. Curinde, apalancando cada día más nuestra economía. Y la nombre de Agencia Funeraria El Señorial. El Señorial donando servicios en el momento más difícil y donando un servicio con un profesionalismo único, respeto para familia, respeto para memoria de difunto y respeto para cada uno de tradición que nuestra comunidad tiene. Esta PC, nuestra comunidad tiene una tradición de profesionalismo de Agencia Funeraria El Señorial, profesionalismo y respeto. Bueno, y continuando con más de nuestro programa, está bom para nos realizar, planificar, movilizar de una manera eficiente 2 millones de almas de un año. Y no está fácil. Señor Andersen, explícanos con el día a día de nos aeropuerto que está sucediendo para Simán, que está sucediendo para día de un área que está pensa só cuánto costo está envolvido en el funcionamiento de un aeropuerto, de un aspecto visible y de un no visible.
We are looking at 2.2 million passengers at a very, very small airport, you know, and it's going to change us completely. It's going to change the destination, it's going to change the industry here. It's going to create jobs, but also challenges with this growth that we are seeing. And what PEG is doing is, of course, trying to diversify as best as possible, because we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket, and we only focus on one market. So the mix that we have between South America, Europe, and North America, that's very balanced for us, and we would like to continue balancing that growth. But of course, adding, okay, yeah, next, that's, you have it there, yeah. Adding something like, we are looking at 250,000 more passengers from last year to this year, and then over a 2-year period, nearly 600,000. we're going to have a busy winter. What you see here is kind of like, I will try to explain it, but what you see here is the arrivals and departures on a Saturday. I believe it's a Saturday, or is it a Friday? Fridays and Saturdays going to be one of our really busy days for this winter season that starts now at the end of October. It will peak during December, January, up to the carnival period. So we have like a mid-December until end of February, I would say. Mid-February, that will be really busy. And we do a lot of simulations. We calculate, we measure, we kind of simulate and do how it looks like and what capacity do we have. Mikael will talk a little bit about that one. But what you see here is half-hour kind of blocks, what you see here. And what you see here, the blue ones or the purple ones, they are the number of passengers that arrived according to our network last year, or in 2023. So 600 passengers arrived, 650 passengers arrived around 5:30 on a Saturday in 2023 at the same time as this year, this winter program, this December. And then you can see the same thing here on the departures. The blue one are for last year, and the yellow-orange ones, they are for this year. And you can see here the departure, the huge difference. You know, like especially here between 1 o'clock on the departures up to around 6 o'clock, even a little bit further than that one, that we will have a huge impact on how many passengers are demanding usage of our facilities. You can see the same thing here, not so clearly to see, but more or less the same, that you have this period between 2 o'clock, and here it goes all the way up to 8 o'clock in the evening, where we will have challenges, and these are the orange and the yellow ones. Those are the ones that we will see this year.
No sabia que o nosso aeropuerto tem gerente de operação novo. Ella tem algum tempo em su cargo, pero é uma pessoa com experiência grandíssima. Ela trabaja en diferentes aeropuertos. Señor Michael Hugenberg está de Alemania y tiene una experiencia de trabajo más grande, más años en la industria. Esta visa que es el único aeropuerto chiquito que él llega de trabajar hasta Korsou. Nos por imaginarnos mesmo después de experiencia, una trayectoria de aeropuerto más grande, Frankfurt, diferente país que él trae, y hoy en día para manejar el aeropuerto de Korsou operacionalmente, me quiere con nota una dificultad, y el aeropuerto está aprovechando grandemente de su capacidad y experiencia.
I would like to introduce Mikael. He will say a few words about that. Maybe I said everything now, but but I would like to introduce Mikael Hörnberger. I would like you to say a few words about where you come from and what you have done. Mikael is kind of like, I'm not saying he's going to save us, but at least he's going to help us a lot with dealing with, what can I say, the future development and the operational challenges that we have at the airport. Fantastic experience, worked with so many different airports on different continents and so on, and we have him here. We had Mikael here for a year, and he made a fantastic difference. So I would like to introduce Mikael, and maybe you can say a few words about yourself, and then you can take it from there.
CAP Korsou Airport Partners. We are operating KUR. KUR is the abbreviation for our airport, internationally used by the International Air Transport Association. And we are an airport operator, we are a service provider, and we are an infrastructure provider. The infrastructure we provide, we have inherited this. It was built in 1935. We are still operating now these 2 million passengers on an airport which was opened in 1935 with a total different purpose. So what we have to do, and whenever we change our infrastructure, actually we have to build it on what we already have. So that means we are opening a heart, we are like in the hospital, life operations in a surgery, that we open the heart and we have to build something and improve it. So when Johnny just has described this new arrangement for the tour buses, it's not that we build it on a green field, we build it on something which is used for a different purpose. And we have to also find a solution for that purpose in a new way. So it's not only that we build something, it is going along with many other things. And an airport like Korsou would not be built in that way anymore because the needs of the industry have changed dramatically. We as an airport, an infrastructure provider actually, we have to build concrete, steel. We have to build a runway, taxiways, aprons, terminals. So that infrastructure has a depreciation time of 20, 30 years. So this is not something you just build and next year you have it available. The airlines, they are much more flexible because they can just switch one aircraft from the one destination to another destination. We cannot do this. So whenever we do something, we have actually to react on the changing market. We have an outlook on this. The outlook may be quite close to what it will be in the future, but mostly there are changes. You all remember the pandemics. There was no traffic at all. And now we have this, a lot of passengers, we have to react on it. So this is a huge challenge because for us it makes a difference whether an aircraft comes from Holland or whether it comes from the US. It is a wide-body aircraft. A wide-body aircraft has totally different needs in the service, in the vehicle serving it, the aircraft stands, while narrow-body aircraft from the US, for example, can be managed in a different way. And we as the airport operator, Korsou Airport Partners, we are not alone. It is not us who are only operating these things. It is also our partners, and maybe speak about a waiting time. So we have an influence as an airport operator, but the other stakeholders have their own business models. They have their own regulatory requirements, and it is the airlines. Just some examples. The ground handlers who work for the airlines, it is the government organizations, which is immigration, which is the customs. So it is actually a team play of many organizations, and we all have to adapt to a fastly changing system. So that's why we sometimes in a slow motion view are catching up of the changes that come, and the changes that coming are great. But this is why we, Johnny said about it, so we have limitations, we agree on this, but we manage them in two ways. We have short-term solution, which I will present to you right now. But we also have long-term views on it, how we do this, because if we see this growth continuing, so other changes are necessary. However, we don't know how long the growth will remain. Everyone knows this. So in the aviation industry, it is an up and down. So we have to use the moment which we have, and we react on this.
Bom, chegando de forma que nos goza de um programa dulce, para um programa que dá nos esperança, aliento para sobra. Esta totalidade, não só que, no caso aqui, não só que na conferência de prensa de Korsou International Airport, pero esta papia de turismo em geral, na 30, via de aeroporto, sem papia mês 10 na 30, com barco, com vai vir turismo e com vai vir benefício, pero si nós temos aeropuerto eficiente, nós temos plus para o que trata Korsou como produto turístico. Danke especial a nosso amigo do aeropuerto para invitar-nos na conferência de prensa, na senhora Faina Hasset, na senhora Andersen Sigur e na inteira diretiva de nosso aeropuerto, e nós invitamos para um próximo programa para nós volver topa e visar outro. Boa noite, Korsou.